Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. I am Tom. This is the Daily Insider, the 6 p.m. edition. Decided to go a little bit later today because mix things up, try something new. Lines change, lineups change, odds change throughout the day, so it kind of made sense to do this at night. Also, speaking of which, the Los Angeles Lakers will be without LeBron James tonight, and so just bear that in mind. That's an example of why we're doing this tonight, because there were rumors earlier today that LeBron James was going to play. He is out tonight for the Lakers, so that's just an example. Before we get into the thick of things here, just want to remind you to join our contest for the ability to win a week's worth of picks from our handicappers. Now, how do you win? Well, you leave in the comment section of this video below, not in the live chat. If you want to ask questions about any games tonight, I'll be happy to answer them in the live chat. But for this contest, what you want to do is you want to leave your best bet of the night in the comment section below. If it's a winning bet, it will be part of a drawing. And if you are picked, then you will get a week's worth of free picks from our handicapper, or whichever one you want. You get to choose which handicapper it is. So leave your best bet, leave your Vegas ID as well so we can contact you. If you don't have a Vegas ID, go to the top right corner of our website. You can see it right here where my mouse is. Register, big yellow box here. So you click on that, you register, you become a Vegas Insider member. It's totally free. And then that will be your ID. Use that ID in the comment box with your best bet, and you could get free picks. So also, you want to like and subscribe to our channel. Yeah, there's a fun little button there for you. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and that's how you're eligible. So leave your best bet, your Vegas ID, and like and subscribe to our channel. And yeah, you can get a week's worth of free picks from one of our handicappers of your choice. Pretty cool stuff there. So I guess we can start with, let's see, I guess we'll go with the NBA. Yeah, we'll start with NBA tonight. Go through, there's a lot of games actually tonight. Let's start at I guess we'll start at the very top. We'll go with the 7 o'clock game, the Denver Nuggets and the Charlotte Hornets. Some things to bear in mind with this game. Again, before we get started, if you have any questions, leave them in the live chat and I'll answer them. So for the Denver Nuggets and the Charlotte Hornets, the Denver Nuggets, they have won 4 straight games when facing Charlotte. However, the home team has covered the spread in 8 straight games played between both teams. And you can see if that trend holds true, Charlotte, they're given a 5.5 point spread as the underdog. So that would cover if the trend does hold true. And you look to head-to-head matchups, Denver, they've won 4 straight games when facing Charlotte. However, Charlotte did cover the spread at home as the underdog, 9.5 point underdog, and then they actually won outright at home prior to that against Denver, 113-107, but that was almost 3 years ago. So that doesn't have a lot of merit behind it. But again, 8 straight games between these two teams in which the home team has covered the spread, so there's a little bit of conviction there if you do fancy LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. There is a prop bet to consider here. PJ Washington has been on a tear lately. Rebounding, though, he has odds to go over 6.5 rebounds at 102, plus 102, so you get plus value for PJ Washington to touch 7 rebounds. PJ Washington has seen 7 or more rebounds in 6 straight games when facing the Western Conference. So there is some light there for you DFS players, but prop bettors as well. PJ Washington has a good trend to get 7 boards against Denver. He's going against Jokic, though, so keep that in mind. Moving on, we have Minnesota and Detroit. Minnesota, they are 7.5 point favorites here. In this game, Detroit, they have lost 6 straight games when facing a team with a losing record. Also, keep in mind that Detroit, although they have lost 6 straight games when facing a team with a losing record, they have covered the spread in 8 of 10 games when facing the Timberwolves, Push comes to shove, I do like Minnesota. However, there's a lot of prop bets to consider in this game for some of the players. Sadiq Bey has made 5 or more three-pointers in 3 of 4 games when facing a team with a losing record. He has odds to go over 3.5 three-pointers at plus 100. D'Angelo Russell, he has seen 7 or more assists in 6 of 7 games. He has odds to get over 6.5 assists at plus 111. It's a weird odd to see. Weird money line there. And then Karl Anthony Towns, he has scored 27 points or more in 6 straight games when Minnesota is the favorite. He has odds to go over 26.5 points at minus 113. So some good prop betting there, but I do think Minnesota wins this on the road. But Detroit has Minnesota's number in terms of covering the spread. But push comes to shove, I'm going to take Minnesota. They're just the better team to me. The point total has gone over in 3 or 4 meetings between the two clubs, so maybe look into that area as well. Let's see. Moving on in the association, 7:40 p.m. tip time between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. This should be a really good game. This game is going to be played in the TD Garden in Boston. This is where Miami actually plays pretty well against Boston, I believe. Yeah, they've covered the spread in 6 of 7 games when playing in Boston. And Miami, they've also won 3 straight games on the road. So there is a little bit of conviction to like about Miami. I'm pretty certain Jaylen Brown's out for the season. And I think everyone can see the struggle that they have without Jaylen Brown, particularly on offense. So it wouldn't shock me at all to see Miami back the trends that say they have covered 6 of 7 in Boston and that they have won 3 straight games on the road. Jimmy Butler has some pretty good odds to maybe test. He has scored 24 points or more in 3 straight games when playing in Boston. He has odds to get over 23.5 points at plus 100. Maybe you want to look into some Jimmy Butler prop betting, but I like Miami tonight. It's just really hard to trust Boston in general, then let alone without Jaylen Brown. Now, Kemba Walker, he has been scoring a lot of points. He has a trend that says he'll score 21 or more, and then Jason Tatum, he's been just a prolific scoring machine. So maybe they could carry them, but again, Miami, they've covered 6 of 7 in Boston. They are right now the minus 1.5 point favorite. That spread for Miami has gone. It's fluctuated throughout the day. I saw it at minus 1.5 this morning. Around 4 p.m. this afternoon, Eastern time, I saw it around minus half a point. Miami, now it's back to 1.5 points. So more people looking like they are backing Miami in that game. 7:40 tip time. Another 7:40 tip time game. The Los Angeles Clippers, they are going to be taking on the newly eliminated from the playoffs Toronto Raptors. First time in 8 seasons the Toronto Raptors have missed the NBA playoffs. Let's see. Toronto have lost 6 of 7 games. The Raptors, however, have covered the spread in 9 of 13 when facing the Clippers. So they do have a little bit of a trend there. There's no real player prop bets that I'm particularly keen on in this matchup. I do like the point total going under, however. The point total has gone under in 4 straight games played between both teams. Also, the point total has gone under in 7 of the last 8 games for the Clippers. So the Clippers have seen the point total gone under in 7 of 8 games. The point total has gone under in 4 straight between the Clippers and the Raptors. Might want to look in there, but you're not taking the Clippers straight. They're far too expensive, and the Raptors have lost 6 of 7 games. Maybe you take Toronto plus 13.5. That's a very large spread for a team that can compete despite them being eliminated. And the Raptors have covered 9 of 13 against the Clippers, so maybe look into Toronto covering or the point total going under, but I don't really see any conviction in prop betting this particular game with any players, so we'll pass on that. Let's go to Chicago at the United Center. We have the Brooklyn Nets. They are 5.5 point favorites. I think that's gone down. Yeah, it's gone down to 4.5 against the Bulls. Brooklyn, keep in mind, I know they might be a fun favorite to fade right now, but the Bulls, they have lost 19 of 23 games when facing a team with a winning record. And Brooklyn has covered the spread in 5 of 6 when playing as the favorite. There is quite a few prop bets, though. If you like Chicago in any way, shape, or form, you would think Nikola Vucevic would have a pretty good game. You might also think Kobe White would have a pretty good game. So Kobe White, he has scored 18 points or more in 4 straight home games. Now, Kobe White has odds to go over 16.5 points at plus 112, so you're getting some good value there. And then Nikola Vucevic, he has seen 14 or more rebounds in 5 straight games, which you can get tonight over 13.5 rebounds at plus 120. So there's a couple Bulls players with plus value that you could bet around if you do think Chicago is due for a good game tonight. If Brooklyn, their inconsistency lately has scared you at all. But again, Chicago's lost 19 of 23 against a team with a winning record. Brooklyn is, in my mind, far superior of a talent than Chicago. I believe they'll have KD and Kyrie tonight. So, if you like Chicago, you might want to just go with some prop bets with some of their star players playing well, like Vucevic and Kobe White, as just mentioned. But I like Brooklyn. If Brooklyn loses this game, it's a concern for the postseason for sure. All right. Moving on, we got Philly and Indiana. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this game. Indiana, there's no real reason to back them. They have failed to cover the spread in 16 of 20 home games. Now they're playing a red-hot Sixers team that's won 8 straight games now. You look at those trends, and you can argue, okay, well, Philly's due for a loss, and I won't argue that, but I'll just point out that Indiana at home is not very good. They've, like I said, they failed to cover in 16 of 20 at home. Philly, they've covered the spread in 2 straight also against Indiana. So there's a lot to like about Philly in terms of the betting trends pointing towards the Sixers win and cover. If you like the point total, though, the point total has gone over in 3 straight meetings between these two teams. Also keep in mind that Indiana, they have gone over the point total in 7 of their last 9 games. So there's a little bit of conviction in the point total going over for the game in Indiana tonight. Dallas and Memphis. This is going to be a real fun game. Here we go. Luka Doncic, man, he cannot get a technical. I wonder if there's a prop bet for this for like the rest of the Mavericks games in the seasons. Will Luka get the last technical he needs to be suspended? I would vote yes, or not vote. I bet yes for that, but we don't have that right now, so we can only wonder. Let's see here. Dallas, they've won 7 of 8. They're kind of on a pretty good roll right now. They've also covered the spread in 5 straight games when facing a team with a winning record, which Memphis does have. I don't really like any player prop bets in this game. However, if you do have a little bit of conviction in Tim Hardaway Jr. to touch 20 points, he has scored 25 or more in 3 straight road games and has odds to go over 19.5 for a pretty cheap minus 113. That's about it. I don't really see any other player prop bets that I like. There's no real conviction in the point total market. It has gone under in 2 of the last 3 games played between Dallas and Memphis, but it fluctuates after that. And 2 of 3 isn't a large sample size to go off of some trends, at least in my opinion. I'd like to see a little bit more games in a sample size for that, but Dallas, they've won 3 straight against Memphis, so maybe you take the Mavericks straight up. But there's not a whole lot of conviction, like I said, in the player prop markets. There's not a whole lot of conviction in the point total market for this game. But Dallas, they've won 7 of 8. They've covered the spread in 5 straight against a team with a winning record. It's a very low 2.5 point spread is what it's gone down to right now. So maybe you take the Mavericks. I think this is too close of a game to call. And if I were betting, I might take the Tim Hardaway to touch 20 points in this one. But even that, I would probably want plus value for. So I think overall we'll just stay away from the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. Talk myself out of that one. All right, that's it for 8 p.m. We'll move to 9 p.m. now. Orlando, Milwaukee. Now, I know Orlando has been a pretty good team on the road in terms of covering the spread. They are a hot mess at home, but when they go on the road, they don't win, but they cover. Part of that is, they play well. The other part of that is that the spread given is pretty high. And then you look at tonight, it's another high spread. Orlando is a 14-point underdog tonight. That's what it currently is sitting at right now. Let's look at some trends for this game. Milwaukee, they've won 6 straight games when playing at home. They have also covered the spread in 6 straight games when facing Orlando. So there is some things to like about Milwaukee. And if you're feeling any sort of conviction in Orlando performing well tonight, a main catalyst, there's been a few. One of the main catalysts is Dwayne Bacon, the former Charlotte Hornet. Dwayne Bacon to get over 14.5 points is minus 108. So it's pretty cheap money line for a man who has scored 18 points or more in 4 of 5 games. Now they're on the road, where for some reason they play better on the road. And so if Orlando is going to have a good game tonight, you think Dwayne Bacon would be able to touch 15 points at -108. So maybe look into that. But there's trends that Milwaukee should win and cover. So if you like the Bucks, go for them. But again, beware. Orlando they're, for some reason, they cover on the road. It's just one of the things they do. So the big game tonight, it's not as big because LeBron's out, but it's still somewhat big. You've got the New York Knicks there on the road against the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Knicks have been just covering machines this whole season. They have won 8 of 11 games when they are the underdog, which they are tonight. Keep in mind the Lakers have also failed to cover the spread in 4 straight games as the favorite. So you take those two trends and you think New York should cover. But they could win, and if you're feeling froggy and you want to take a jump, go ahead and get the plus value money line for the Knicks straight up. Now, there's a couple prop bets I like for this. Julius Randle has been lately hit or miss with the 30-burger, scoring 30 points in games. He hasn't even really touched 20 over his last few games, but he has plus value to go over 25.5 points, and his trend is that he has scored 32 points or more in 3 straight games when facing a former team. So when Julius Randle is playing a team that he has been on already, the Lakers, he has scored 32 points or more in 3 straight games. So keep in the back of your mind that if odds makers are giving you 25.5 for Julius Randle tonight at plus value, consider it. I know that he hasn't gone over 20 in 2 of his last 3 games or something like that, but he was a 30-burger for about a week and a half straight at one point, and it wasn't too long ago. Now he's playing a team that doesn't have one of their best players, LeBron James, and he's got that mindset. Clearly, when he faces teams that he's been on, he goes ham. So 32 points or more in 3 straight against a former team, taking on the Lakers. And then R.J. Barrett, he has scored 4 or more 3-pointers in 3 straight games, so he's got the hot hand, which you can ride. R.J. Barrett to get over 2.5 3-pointers in this game is plus 136. And looking through all these prop bets and most of the other markets through the NBA games we've discussed already, I would argue that's probably the one that stands out to me the most, is that R.J. Barrett can touch 3 3-pointers at plus 136, and he's scored 4 or more in 3 straight games. So he doesn't even need to touch 4. He just needs to touch 3. Maybe you want to look into that. All right, we got 2 more 10 p.m. games. We got the Thunder and the Kings here. The Thunder, they have lost an insane amount of games lately. I think it's like 21 of 22. It is 21 of 22. All right. And then the Kings, however, they have failed to cover the spread in 7 of 8 as the favorite, so there is a reason to maybe go with Oklahoma City plus 10. It's a really large spread for a team that can compete against the Kings, I think. That's just my opinion. There's one prop bet you might want to consider. Buddy Hield has seen 6 or more assists in 3 straight games. He has odds to go over 5.5 assists at minus 101. You're basically getting that for plus 100 or even value. And then finally, we have the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be a really fun game, too. I know a lot of people are pretty high on Chris Paul in terms of MVP. I don't think he's going to win. It's unfortunate that he isn't getting more notice. I think a reason is because of his stats. They're just not mind-boggling, which is a shame. I think a lot of the Chris Paul MVP voting comes from what he's done with Phoenix. Now, if you look at Phoenix's record compared to what they've been the past 5 years, you're like, okay, Chris Paul's MVP. But if you look at Chris Paul's statistics, I mean, they're good, but they're not Jokic, Embiid. I mean, they're not even Zach LaVine level for that matter. Zach LaVine scores 30 points almost a game. So I mean, Steph Curry might have a case too, just because he's scoring 37 points a game. So I feel for Chris Paul because he deserves it. But look, you can bet on Chris Paul tonight. He has seen 2 or more 3-pointers in 9 of 12 games. That's easy peasy. And you can get Chris Paul over 1.5 3-pointers at plus 100 in a big game on the road against a guard in Steph Curry. He's going up against that is with him in the MVP. Expect Chris Paul to hit 2 3-pointers in this game for plus 100. I think that's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, but time will tell. Steph Curry, 37 points or more in 7 of 9 as the underdog. He has odds to go over 35.5 at minus 108. It's a bit high. Probably stay away from that. In terms of a winner here, the underdog has covered the spread in 6 of 8 games played between both teams. That would tell you that Golden State will cover. However, Phoenix has won 17 of their last 20 games when facing the West as the favorite, which they are tonight. I still like Chris Paul. I think that's the best bet in this game. If you want to take Draymond Green for over 8.5 assists, feel free to. He hit for me when we suggested Draymond Green do the 8.5 assists. Was it last game? I think it was, and he hit on that. So he has seen 9 or more assists in 5 straight games. So there's a couple of prop bets I think I might lean towards instead of picking a winner in this Phoenix Golden State game. But Chris Paul to hit 2 3-pointers at plus value. You got to test that, I think. Even if it misses, that's just too good of a deal to pass up on. All right, that's it for the association. Do we have any questions? Anybody leave any questions? No. Again, if you have any questions in the live chat, just feel free to pop them in there. We'll answer them, and by we, I mean me. So MLB, we have, let's see, I think we have a good amount of games to get through. Yeah, all right, we'll get through them. Let's get to baseball. Now, there have been a few games that have already been played. I know there was a 3 o'clock game. The Cubs are playing. The Rangers are playing right now. So we'll just move down. There's a 6:30 games, the Reds and the Pirates. That's rushing it. So we'll just go right down to the 7 p.m. games. We'll go to the Philadelphia Phillies and the Washington Nationals. Now, the Nationals have lost 6 straight games when facing the Phillies after losing the game prior. Philadelphia has also lost 3 of their last 4 games when facing Washington. Washington has covered the plus 1.5 run line in 4 of 5 games when facing Philadelphia. This is a bit tricky of a game. I think, though, that you could take Philly for plus value at plus 110. That is where the value lies. And again, Washington has lost 6 straight games against the Phillies after losing the game prior. There's no conviction in the run total. I think this is one you either take Philly or you stay away from. Again, Washington has covered the run line in 4 of 5 against Philly, but they were plus 1.5 in all 4 of those games. Tonight they are 1.5. So I don't think I would touch that. Let's go to Baltimore and the New York Mets, an interleague game here. We've got Birdland, the Orioles. They have won 6 straight games when playing the National League as an underdog on the road on a Tuesday. Some very finite trend right there. Baltimore, though, they've held their own against the Mets. They've covered the run line in 3 of 4 games against the Mets. But the run total, I think, is the way you go here. Excuse me. I think you go over. The run total has gone over in 5 straight games played between both teams. And also keep in mind, Baltimore, they've got some bats. So, if Baltimore can get 4 on the board, I would expect New York to go, tit for tat with them there. They should be able to put up 3 to 4 runs. And looking at the run line, let's see what the run line is. It's 6.5. So you get a pretty low run line. And again, a lot of it is because John Means and Marcus Stroman are taking the mound. But Means is coming off a no-no, so you might want to take advantage of that. He's due. He's due to get hit. The Mets are due to hit. I don't know. I think 6.5 is awfully low for a run line in baseball. Even for pitchers named Jacob deGrom, that's 6.5 is low. So you take that, and you take that with knowing that the run total has gone over in 5 straight games played between both teams, and the over 6.5 is actually cheaper than the under 6.5. Over 6.5 minus 107, under 6.5 minus 114. So I think there's a lot to like about the run total possibly going over in the Baltimore-New York game. Kansas City-Detroit. Let's see here. The Royals, they have lost 9 straight divisional games when playing at nighttime after losing at home the game prior, which they did. They lost at home the game prior, losing 9-3 to Chicago. They've given up exactly 9 runs in 2 straight games. Maybe you want to take the over in that regard. Otherwise, I don't know. All right. I like Kansas City to cover the run line here. They've won 5 straight games in a row against Detroit. They've covered the run line in 4 of 5 games. However, the under has hit in 3 straight meetings between these two teams. So I know I just said over because Kansas City has given up 9 runs in 2 straight games in each game. So 18 total runs in 2 games. But maybe they come back down to earth. They're now playing a team that they are better than. Those 2 games they gave up 9 runs to Chicago, the best team in the division. So now they go up against a team they should beat. The run total has gone under in 3 straight games played between both teams. So maybe you look into that regard. But I see the trend saying Detroit should win this game. I don't know. I have a lot of look. There's not many games I'm going to be betting on Detroit. So if you're not convinced with the Royals, especially at -130 on the road after giving up 18 runs in back-to-back games, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. This is not a game you have to take. So feel free to pass on that. New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays. It's the game on ESPN, I do believe. You got Jordan Montgomery going against Luis Patino. I believe it was Ryan Yarbrough yesterday, but Tampa Bay with their pitching staff, so who's going to argue that? The underdog has won 6 of 7 games played between these two teams, and Tampa Bay is home. Even if they were the favorite, I think Tampa Bay, you could make an easy argument that they can and should win this game. So feel free to take the plus value for Tampa Bay beating New York. Tampa Bay has actually won 3 straight games against New York. They've won 4 of their last 5 games against New York. But I do like the run total possibly going over as well. Now, keep in mind the New York Yankees. They are one of the best teams in baseball in terms of going under the run total, but the run total has gone over in 3 of 4 meetings between the Yankees and Tampa Bay. So you have some crossing trends there. I think Tampa Bay is a fine bet. Underdogs won 6 of 7 between the two teams, and Tampa Bay has had New York's number as of lately, winning 3 in a row. Plus 104, you get good value with the Rays. Oakland and Boston, the Athletics, hashtag rise and grind, taking on the Red Sox. Boston, they have won 8 straight games when playing on a Tuesday. However, they have lost the first inning in 4 of 5 home games when they are favored on a Tuesday. So there's hedging available here. You can get Oakland to win the first inning at plus 360 and Boston to win the game at -130. Boston has covered the Boston has covered the -1.5 run line in 3 straight games against Oakland and 4 of their last 5 against Oakland. Whenever you see a team at -1.5 for the run line, you're going to get plus value. So I would look into that, actually, instead of Boston winning straight up at -130. Boston, they have not only covered the run line, well, I guess that's pretty obvious. If they're covering -1.5, they've won the game. The run total has gone over in 4 of the last 5 meetings played between both teams. However, Oakland has gone under in 4 straight road games. So, again, I think a good strategy here is to take Boston -1.5 and or hedge it with Oakland winning the first inning at a pretty staggering plus 360. Again, Boston has lost the first inning in 4 or 5 home games when favored on a Tuesday. So look into that. Toronto and Atlanta, this will be our big game tomorrow night. But tonight you got Robbie Ray taking on Bryce Wilson. The Toronto Blue Jays, they have lost 6 straight road games when playing on a Tuesday. Keep in mind, though, they've been playing all their games in Florida, so this isn't as cumbersome of a traveling schedule as it typically would be if you're going from wherever Toronto is playing to Atlanta. Now, the Braves, they've lost the first inning in 3 of 4 home games, so you can get Toronto to win the first inning at plus 265. Toronto, they've won 3 straight games against Atlanta. They've covered the run line in 5 straight games against Atlanta. I think there's a lot to like about Toronto in this game, and if you like Atlanta, maybe take a prop bet on Freddie Freeman and or Ronald Acuna going yard, because right now, the bats are flying for Atlanta. They're not winning, but they can hit. And Ronald Acuna I believe he's leading the odds in MVP voting, or MVP right now, plus 275. So might want to look into Acuna going yard, but there's a lot to like about Toronto in this one. Look, the trend says they've lost 6 straight on the road on a Tuesday, but Toronto, they've had Atlanta's number quite often. So if you don't like Toronto in this one, I think you take Acuna to go yard. That's just me, because I don't have a ton of conviction in Atlanta right now. They should turn it around at some point, though, you would think, but who knows. All right, moving on. St. Louis, Milwaukee, we have some trends here. The Cardinals, they've won 6 straight divisional games. They have also led after 3 innings in 6 straight divisional games, so they're pretty comfortable in the division. Milwaukee, they've lost the first inning in 3 straight games when playing at night. You can get the Cardinals at plus 360 to win the first inning. So there's a lot of value in St. Louis tonight. Now, Milwaukee's won 2 straight against St. Louis, but again, there is some value and some trends that point towards St. Louis, whether you want to go first inning, third inning, or the entire game. There is some stuff to like about the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. They've also won 3 straight games in a row. So they're on a little bit of a hot streak right now. Yeah, I like St. Louis in this one for plus value, especially. I'll take the Cardinals. Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota, there's a trend that they're losing this game. Yeah, they've lost 7 straight games when played on a Tuesday. They've also lost 3 of 4 games against Minnesota. They failed to cover the run line in 3 of 4 games against Chicago. The run line has gone under run total has gone under in 5 straight games played between both teams. So if you like the White Sox, if you like the run line going under, I think those would be the 2 bets to look into for the Twins and White Sox tonight. But yeah, other than that, that's about it. There's no real prop bets I'm feeling for this, so we'll just move on from there. AL West action, we got the Angels and we've got the Astros. We got, Showtime's pitching. Shohei Ohtani is going on the mound for the Angels. The Angels, they have won 4 straight games when facing the Astros as an underdog after winning the game prior. The Angels are coming off of a win. They are underdogs facing the Astros, so that tells you they should win this game, and they have plus value. You can get them for plus 128, and Ohtani is pitching, arguably their best pitcher, going against, is it McCullers? It is McCullers. He's decent. He's no Greinke, though, so you might want to look into the Angels. I think they have the edge on the mound in this one. They've also won 2 straight games against Houston. So, yeah, maybe you want to look into the Angels as a possible underdog value pick. San Diego and Colorado, they're going to take it on Coors Field tonight. Now, the underdog, San Diego has seen the underdog win 5 of 6 games when playing in Denver. Colorado is the underdog at plus 150. They play so much better at home, too, the Rockies. It's amazing. It's like night and day when they play at home compared to on the road. The head-to-head meetings considerably favors San Diego in this, though. They've won 5 straight against the Rockies. They've covered the run line in 4 of 5 against the Rockies. I would honestly probably go San Diego minus 1.5 run line for plus value over Colorado winning this game between the two. What's kind of crazy is you would think in Colorado where the ball flies and there's a lot of runs scored, the run total has actually gone under in 3 of the last 4 meetings played between both teams. So you might want to consider that. What's the run line in this? 9.5. All right, I think I'd stay away from that then. If it was a little bit higher, if it was like 11.5, which is typically what you get at Coors Field, even 10 for that matter might go under, but 9.5, I think that they could go over. Look, whenever you're playing Coors Field, it's hard to trust any trend that says under. I think we all know how much the baseball flies in that ballpark. So I think you go San Diego minus 1.5 run line for this game. All right, we got a couple more games. Finish up here. We got the Miami Marlins. They are taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona, they have seen the home team win 8 straight games in a row. That would tell you they're going to win tonight at minus 113. However, Miami, they've won the first inning in 5 of 6 games when playing at night, and you can get the Marlins to win the first inning at plus 270. So there's a lot of good value in the first inning market for some of these games in baseball tonight. Miami, they've covered the run line in 4 or 5 games when facing Arizona. They've also won 3 of their last 4 games against Arizona. And with Miami being the underdog, in this one, you could get them. Wow. Okay. Well, they are the underdog, but you can get Miami for minus 1.5 at plus 170. So again, I think you might want to look into the run line market there. But if you like Arizona, again, the home team has won 8 straight in a row. They got Bummy on the mound tonight. But you could hedge Arizona winning with Miami winning the first inning at plus 270, and then Arizona winning game at minus 113. You can make a profit if those two things do hit. So yeah, I mean, look. I'm not sure Miami's going to get on Bummy early, but he's not the same pitcher he was. He got the 7-inning no-hitter, but we've seen Kershaw get ran out of the first inning by the Chicago Cubs. So I don't know. I think Miami coming off a loss, they've got a good arm on the mound themselves in Pablo Lopez. They might try to get him Bummy early. I don't know, but plus 270 for Miami to win the first inning. And if you want to hedge that with the Diamondbacks, I won't argue that at all. And finally, we got the Mariners against the struggling Dodgers. My goodness, they're struggling. Now, the trend tells you the Dodgers should win this game. They've won 10 straight games when facing the American League on a Tuesday. But if you look at the Dodgers lately, my goodness, they have lost an astounding amount of games. They have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their last 6 games, with their only win coming against Los Angeles, their brother city rival. 14-11, and keep in mind, the Dodgers led 13-0 in that game. The only win the Dodgers have had in their last 6 games was 14-11 in a game they led 13 runs, and they only won by 3. They won off a save opportunity, 3 runs. That's insane. So I don't know about the Dodgers right now. I have no conviction in them. That trend means nothing to me with the way they're playing. Honestly, if you want to look at the Mariners winning the first inning, which they've done so in 4 straight games against the Dodgers when playing at night, you get the Mariners for plus 420 to win the first inning. So, you know what? If you want to ride this Dodgers debacle right now and take a chance that they get on Walker Buehler early in the game for plus 420, I'm not going to argue that. I'm certainly not taking the Dodgers in the rut they're in right now. With the odds they're given, they're minus 235 right now. I mean, it would be shocking to see the Dodgers as either an underdog or close to an underdog, despite how bad they're playing. But, you know, it's a long season. We got months to go. Just wait. There's no point in rushing to go take the Dodgers. There's just not. They're not playing well. They're too expensive. And look, Seattle's won 4 straight first innings against Los Angeles at night. And you can get that for plus 420. So, I don't know. I just think that's worth considering. Let's end it on some hockey. Hockey. There's only 2 games, so we can kind of cruise through that pretty quickly. Pull up the odds. Yep, only 2 games. These 2 right here. And we got odds for tomorrow out already. The playoffs will be starting soon, but only 2 games tonight. Let's see. We got the Bruins and the Capitals. The Capitals are the favorites. Now, Boston, they've actually won 4 straight games when playing as the underdog on a Tuesday. So there is some plus value to consider with the Bruins. But we've been knocking prop bets out of the rink, per se. We've been hitting a lot of goal props, and these are like plus 230s, plus 140s. They're all plus value for the most part. So let's see here. I'll give you some trends here, and you guys can do what you want with them. Patrice Bergeron, he has scored a goal in 5 of his last 6 games. All of these players have plus value to score a goal tonight. TJ Oshie, he has scored a goal in 4 or 5 games when Washington is playing Boston as the favorite. And then you have Taylor Hall. He has scored a goal in 3 straight games when the Bruins are playing the second game of a back-to-back. So you got 3 players. Do what you will with those. I'm sure they all see plus value to score a goal. I'm not saying all 3 are going to score goals tonight. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but at minimum, one of them should. And you should see a profit if you take them. So Bergeron, Oshie, Taylor Hall. Those are 3 names to watch in terms of scoring a goal for Boston and Washington tonight. And then we have, and then keep in mind that Boston, they win as an underdog on a Tuesday, which they are tonight. Then you have Vancouver taking on Winnipeg. Now, Winnipeg they've lost 5 straight games when playing as the favorite, and Vancouver has odds to win at plus 150. I don't think I'd take that, though. I have no conviction in the Canucks at all. They're just not that good, so I'm not going to take that. Some prop betting, though, we'll definitely give you some of these. Nils Hoglander, plus 340 to score a goal for Vancouver. He has scored a goal in 3 of 4 games when playing in Winnipeg. Also, Kyle Connor at plus 125 to score a goal. He's been pretty good this year. He's been scoring a lot of goals this year, actually. He has scored a goal in 3 of 5 home games when Winnipeg is the favorite. So, there's some things to like about some hockey tonight. Nils Hoglander, Kyle Connor for the Canucks and the Jets. And then you got Patrice Bergeron, TJ Oshie, and Taylor Hall for Boston, Washington. They all have trends to score a goal tonight, and you can get them all for plus value. So pick your poison. You could say choose wisely there. Do we have any? No, still no questions. So, all right, that's fine. I guess no one has any betting questions. Also want to keep you updated with the sports that are going on. We do have a UFC interview finally up for 262 this weekend. So you want to get those best bets and predictions down. You can check that out. this weekend. We got a lot going on. We got the Preakness Stakes going on this weekend. I know Bob Baffert's horse Medina Spirit is actually going to be racing. They're going to allow the horse to race, and so that's a thing. We got AT&T Byron Nelson odds for the golf tournament that's going to be taking place in Texas this week. That starts Thursday, so we got some odds for that as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just want to remind you to leave your best bet at the bottom of the in the comment box below. And again, no live bets. You can't take a live bet. No future bets. No minus 1,000. If you take the Sixers tonight straight up, you're not going to get picked. You can put that as your best bet, but don't expect to win anything. But yeah, I think that's again, leave your best bet. Leave your Vegas ID. As well, so we can contact you. If you get your best bet right, you can win. If you look at the box right below me, you can win a weekly package of any handicapper of your choice, their best bets for the entire week. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, and leave your best bet with your Vegas ID so we can contact you. But that's going to do it for me, Tom, here at the Vegas Insider YouTube channel, the Daily Insider. Good luck with your bets. Go out there and make some money. And, yeah, until next time, we'll see you.